So, hi Ray.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, I wanted to thank you a lot for joining us. And you're the CEO of Skill Survey. Can
Correct.
you tell us a bit about Skill Survey?
So Skill Survey was invented and started in 2002 with the specific intent to improve the reference checking step in the hiring process. Reference checking historically has been a source of frustration for recruiters.
Right.
It's difficult to track a couple of people down, get them on the phone, ask them some questions to answer candidly. A lot of companies over here don't allow their employees to say anything. Well, they can give a reference in that they worked there.
Okay.
So,
but not how they were as employees.
Yeah, correct. So they're making hiring decisions not based on previous behaviors, but did they work there? Everyone believes that the best predictor of future performance is previous performance. Right. So the goal of our founders was to provide references the opportunity to express candidly their opinions of the job applicant, based on the behaviors that matter for the job that the applicant's applying for.
What are the key things that you think recruiters should note when they're working with the reference? But is there anything that you think they can improve when they do reference? Or
it's a big challenge. It's tough. It's a very tough question. I will because certainly the skill set of the recruiter matters. The desire of the recruiter matters. I mean,
do you think it has any value? The typical phone-based surveys?
It could if in fact the two things need to occur. One is the recruiter really needs to be motivated to spend time on that step, asking a lot of questions, versus just checking off the box that reference checking has been done, dates of employment have been verified. So if you have a recruiter who really...
Do you think it's a recruiter's job or the hiring manager's job?
That depends on the organization.
Okay.
I know here with clients that we have, that actually is answered also the same way. It depends on who they think is the best person to ask those questions. It may be the hiring manager if, in fact, they have the best understanding of the job and really what's required for someone to be successful. But if they've transferred that knowledge over to the recruiter, which most people should be able to do, then I think the recruiter can
do a good job.
Certainly capable of being able to do that job, especially if they do it consistently. The problem with hiring managers, if you have 10 hiring managers who are doing reference checking, it's going to be scattered as far as consistency. Now, the same thing could be said for 10 recruiters, but if they're doing it every day, they're more likely to do it well. I would certainly suggest a structured questionnaire. The
questions you'd recommend they ask are behaviorally based and adapted to the specific position.
Correct. Correct. Now, some of those open-ended questions can be very difficult for a reference to answer. So, and in a lot of cases over the phone, they just want to give positive answers. So, my most successful reference check calls would be when I gave an either-or scenario to a reference. So, if I'm looking for a salesperson, I've looked for many. I would ask the reference, not are they just a good salesperson, but of the two roles, sales hunter, somebody who's out there looking for new sales, or sales farmer who's nurturing existing clients. Of those two, could you tell me which one they would be better at? It doesn't put the reference on the spot, if you will.
Because both seem valid.
Yeah, both seem valid, and I'm just asking a question, if it's this one or that one. Now, if I'm looking for a sales hunter, I'm hoping that's where I'm not going to tell them what I'm looking for. I don't want to lead the witness, if you will. But if they say, well, Ray, really at the end of the day, they're probably a much better nurturer than hunter, they don't know if that they're giving me information. Yeah, they're just saying, they're still answering in a positive way. So if you had 10 questions to ask the reference, I would start the call letting the reference know. I have 10 questions to ask you. I'm not looking for very long answers. I'm going to actually give you 3 different scenarios or 2 different scenarios for each one of these 10 questions. I'm just asking you which one do you think they'd be better at.
Talking to them on the phone, it'd be better just to give them the two.
The either or. I don't think
the either or.
Correct. I think it would be hard to say on a scale of 1 to 7.
For so many behaviors over the phone.
Correct. I think an either or would be much better suited for the job. I think it's very critical that when you get the reference on the phone, you do offer them the opportunity to speak to behaviors that matter for the job. I think sometimes people just quickly move through the reference checking step too quickly, and therefore don't get the information that really matters regarding that particular job. Just showing up to work on time, is that important? Certainly. But it depends on the role as to what behaviors is that person going to leverage every single day. Are the ones that I really want to get. I want to get the references to help me understand in that either-or scenario that we talked about. Which one's this person has best suited for the role?
And you're talking about fast. Do you have an estimate for a good phone interview duration?
I wouldn't put the reference on the phone for more than 5 or 10 minutes.
Really?
I think that's I think if you can get that job done within that amount of time, the reference will remain fresh. Otherwise, they may start to get a little frustrated with the process.
The process, yeah.
Correct, and either just give very quick answers at the end. So I give all the instructions up front on the reference.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you 10 questions. It's going to take possibly 5 minutes. I'm really going to give you either or scenarios and just want to have you.
So you need to be very, very structured up front, so
correct.
For it to be really tight.
Correct.
In these few minutes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Great.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thanks.